Donald Trump's presidency sent shockwaves through the global trade landscape. His aggressive America-first approach, characterized by tariffs and renegotiated trade deals, marked a stark departure from decades of U.S. trade policy. This essay delves into the key elements of Trump's trade and tariff policies, examining their impact on American consumers, businesses, and the global trade order. From imposing tariffs on Chinese goods to renegotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement, Trump's actions have had far-reaching consequences. This essay explores the motivations behind these policies, their intended and unintended outcomes, and their potential long-term implications for the U.S. economy and its position in the world. Central to Trump's trade policy was the America First doctrine. This approach prioritized protecting American industries and jobs, even if it meant disrupting established trade relationships and norms. Trump argued that previous administrations had negotiated bad trade deals that led to job losses and factory closures in the U.S. To reverse this trend, Trump imposed tariffs on a range of imports, including steel, aluminum, solar panels, and washing machines. These tariffs were intended to make foreign goods more expensive, thereby boosting demand for American-made products. This protectionist approach, however, drew criticism from businesses and economists who argued that it would ultimately harm American consumers and businesses by raising prices and inviting retaliation from trading partners. The most consequential aspect of Trump's trade policy was the trade war with China. Trump accused China of unfair trade practices including intellectual property theft, forced technology transfer, and currency manipulation. In response, the U.S. imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. China retaliated with tariffs of its own, targeting key American exports like soybeans, pork, and automobiles. This tit-for-tat escalation of tariffs had a significant impact on both economies. In the U.S., businesses faced higher input costs, consumers paid more for goods, and farmers struggled to find new markets for their products. The trade war with China, coupled with tariffs on other countries, had a tangible impact on American consumers and businesses. Tariffs on imported goods led to higher prices for a wide range of consumer products, from washing machines and solar panels to bicycles and clothing. Businesses, particularly those reliant on imported materials or components, faced increased production costs. Some companies absorbed these costs, while others passed them on to consumers in the form of higher prices. The uncertainty surrounding trade policy also made it difficult for businesses to plan for the future, potentially hindering investment and growth. Section 5. The agricultural sector, caught in the crossfire. The agricultural sector was particularly hard hit by the trade war with China. China had been a major market for American agricultural products, particularly soybeans. However, retaliatory tariffs significantly reduced Chinese demand for U.S. agricultural exports. This led to a surplus of soybeans in the U.S., depressing prices and hurting farmers' incomes. To mitigate the damage, the Trump administration provided billions of dollars in aid to farmers. However, many argued that these payments were a band-aid solution that did not address the underlying issues caused by the trade war. Section 6 NAFTA renegotiated, the USMCA era begins. In addition to tariffs, the Trump administration also renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement, which Trump had long criticized. The result was the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which went into effect in July 2020. The USMCA made some changes to NAFTA, including stricter rules of origin for automobiles, increased labor protections, and provisions for digital trade. However, many experts argued that the changes were relatively modest, and that the USMCA was more of a rebranding of NAFTA than a complete overhaul. Section 7. The future of U.S. trade policy, uncertainty looms. As of 2025, the future of U.S. trade policy remains uncertain. The long-term impact of Trump's trade policies, particularly the trade war with China, is still being debated. Some argue that the tariffs forced China to make concessions and will ultimately benefit American businesses and workers in the long run. Others contend that the trade war caused unnecessary economic damage, and the tariffs will continue to harm American consumers and businesses. The Biden administration has maintained many of the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, signaling a continuation of a tough stance on trade, particularly with China. Section 8. Conclusion, a lasting legacy on global trade. Donald Trump's trade and tariff policies represented a significant departure from previous U.S. administrations. His America First approach, characterized by tariffs and a willingness to challenge established trade norms, has had a profound impact on the global trade landscape. While the long-term consequences of these policies remain to be seen, there is no doubt that Trump's actions have left a lasting legacy on global trade. The future of U.S. trade policy will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including domestic political considerations, the global economic environment, and the actions of key trading partners. One thing is certain: trade will continue to be a critical issue for the U.S. and the world for years to come.